Maps app, the navigation system, and perhaps a lot of you already use it. So maybe this will just be a review for you. You can get detailed information, detailed driving directions for your destination, turn-by-turn spoken directions, or you can turn that voice off so that you don't have to listen to it. The voice, some of these things are not available in all countries, but throughout the United States, it certainly is. First of all, if you navigate with maps, so if you're going to use this in your car as a navigation system, you have to have your cellular turned on, because otherwise it's really not going to work. So go to, if you're using it in the house, you want to have your Wi-Fi setting. You have to have your Wi-Fi setting on. But if you're going to use it on the road, you want to make sure that cellular is turned on while you're using it. So you go to settings, and then you scroll down until you find cellular. Click on the cellular, and then scroll down until you find maps, and turn that toggle switch on to maps. And then go over to privacy and make sure that location services are on only while you're using the map. So I'm going to stop this share and just go through that real quickly. Okay, so I'm going to go to settings. Here I am in settings. And in the first grouping, I see cellular. So I'm going to cellular, turn that, touch on that. And then I scroll down until I find maps, and here's maps right in the middle of the screen. And you can see that I've turned it on, and I'm scrolling up, so it's right at the top now, so you can see it. So that means the cellular data is on, so I can be driving around and stop someplace and pull over and look for something on maps, and it'll actually show up. But the next thing I want to do is go down to privacy. And why am I not seeing it? Privacy, 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 privacy and security. There it is. And I want to find maps in privacy and security. So I go to location services. So again, I went to privacy and security, touched on location services. And then I'm going to scroll down until I find maps. This is luckily in alphabetical order. And there it is. I found maps. I put it up at the top of the screen now so you can see it. And I have mine set to while using the app. While using the app or widgets, I'm not sure what that means. So your location is used to show your position on the map, get directions, estimate travel times, and improve search results. So that's how you set it up. You may already have yours set, so you don't have to worry about it. That would be good. So that's what I would like you to do, to just as a kind of a precursor to actually talking about the maps and navigation. So, okay, now using the service is really kind of cool. You can ask Siri, show me the coffee shops in the area, or give me directions to the nearest coffee shop. And the Maps app will open up with all the coffee shops on the map. Then you can choose one that you want to think about going to, touch it on the map, and it will say, in this case, I touched Moxie Cafe and Market. That's the kind of new one that's over by, why am I losing on Mountain Avenue?
Mountain Meadows.
Mountain Meadows, thank you. And so when I click on 3-minute directions, the map changes to a direction map on how to get there. So that's one way to use it, using the navigation system, by going through Siri. Another way is you can actually look at the map, look at, if you want to say, and I have done this when I'm visiting the coast, or when I look for a dog park or just a park to walk the dogs in. I go to a map and I touch a park and ask for directions. When that name of that park comes up, I touch directions, and then it shows me the directions from the location where I am. So this is the location. I did that, touched Ashland Dog Park. The little pop-ups opened up with the Ashland Dog Park information on it, with the address. I touched directions, and it gave me various directions from our house on how to get to the dog park. So that's another way to use to get there. The third way to find directions is actually to type something into the search box. So in this case, I started typing Port Orr. I wanted Port Orford. And I got as far as Port Orr, and I saw that Port Orford was there. So I touched on that, the directions came up. I touched directions, and it said that from here, I am 3 hours and 37 minutes from Port Orford. When I touch on that particular button with the car, it shows me 3 routes. Now, the thing that has changed some in iOS 16 is that previously you didn't have all this. There's a lot of information down there below this about Port Orford. That didn't used to be there. The other thing that has changed with iOS 16 is that you can add a stop to it. So I could add a stop. I added a stop to Crescent City, and it changed the map when I did that. Well, let's keep on going, and I'll go back to that afterwards. Okay, so maps will default to your preferred way to travel. So if you're always looking at things with a car, on how to get there by car, the car will be highlighted, and that'll be your default. But you can also figure out how to get there by walking, by transit, public transit, by cycling, or by Uber. So all of those various choices are there. And interestingly enough, Uber will actually give you a price of how much it costs to travel by that. Okay, so this is kind of where we go to find here are the question that you just asked. Here you should see these buttons on the map after you touch go, and it should default to
starting route to Port Orford.
Yeah.
Head southeast onto Calmer Way, then turn left onto Tolman Creek Road.
I'm sorry, I don't know how to stop it.
Okay, so in that same screen, there's a turn off. So the speaker with a line through it, that turns off the voice. And then, of course, to end the directions, you touch this little caret that's next to the arrival time there, and you have a pop-up menu that comes in where you can end the route. Okay, so this is a screen that you're not going to see in the Rogue Valley because we're not that big and famous. But in select cities, you can see enhanced details for crosswalks and bike lanes, buildings, and street level perspectives that could help you find the right lane to get into at complex interchanges. And this was a picture right out of the user guide, so I can't bring anything like that up on my phone, unfortunately. Get rid of that, go to maps. So here I am at the maps. First of all, using Siri, give me directions to Jackson County Physical Therapy.
Getting directions to Jackson County Physical Therapy.
So I'm going to go from my location. There we go. So that's 2 minutes from my house. That gives me, and Siri helped me do that. So it just, it's turning on its own. So my, if I touch that little caret up there, I can add a stop. So I'm going to stop at a coffee shop. So if I stop at the Moxie Cafe, which is up there, add stop, see what happens. So it's got me now going to the coffee shop first, and then backtracking back down to Jackson County Physical Therapy. Okay, so that's using Siri. Oops. Now I want to end that and the route. The other thing you can do, as I said, was to touch something on the map and get directions that way. So say I want to go to yoga therapy. So that's apparently 3 minutes away. A yoga studio. Okay, I'm just at this point showing different ways to use the map and get the directions on the map. So say I want to go from my location to this yoga therapy place, which is 3 minutes away. It's the fastest route. It also seems to be the only route. So when I touched go, that's also when the voice things come up. So right now I have it on mute, but I can
Head east on Clear Creek Drive, then turn left onto North Mountain Avenue.
but that options for the voice come up after you've started go. So that's the second way. And then the third way of course, of using the maps is to type in where you want to go. So let's say I want to go to Bandon, Oregon. And I get directions by car from my location, and it offers me two. I'm going to add a stop, and I'm going to add Crescent City. And I press go, and it's got me all the way from there.
See up there?
Mm-hmm. So I believe that changes the directionality. Do you notice that the arrow? Do you see where the arrow is pointing? And if I touch that,
I see.
and if you take a real close look at that squiggly thing, there is a little arrow at the bottom of the squiggly thing. And so that it is now set to move along the map route. And by touching it, I changed that, I believe, to the direction out, the north direction will always be faced, but I,
On a Garmin GPS, that squiggly line you say really is intended to show the entire path. So if you're going to go 500 miles and you don't want to have to scroll all over the place, if you just tap that, it'll show you from the beginning to the end. So you can see what the whole route is.